Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Two Pals Unlimited Craic podcast. I'm Luke, and I'm joined by my co-host Jamie, or Jim Bob, and today we're doing things a bit differently. We're actually in the same room as each other, which I think is kind of a bit more interesting because we kind of have that sort of personal interaction and we can actually gauge each other's kind of responses and interactions a bit better. Excuse the clutter behind me, as Jamie kind of pointed out before we started recording, because we're recording in his kitchen, but I don't know, I'm vibing. I think it's going to be good. So how are you feeling? How's it going?
Yeah, feeling good. Messy workspace, clean mind, as they say.
That's it. You can't organize chaos, you know.
That's it. Everyone just needs to know that I have a washing machine and a dryer and an oven, so I'm set.
As most people do.
You've blown my cover. You've put my real name on the internet.
Oh, you didn't want me to do that?
No, we're grand. So you'll notice the camera angle disparity. We don't have multiple real cameras, so Luke's is on a tripod and mine is just the laptop, so all's good. I want to jump in some corrections last time.
Okay.
I said that somehow Neuralink was going to be able to interact directly with devices without using hardware or software, which is clearly impossible. I was just a little bit flustered. You know the thing you do where you're trying to get a point across and you forget to breathe, so you just try and finish it really quickly.
I do that every day pretty much when I'm talking, because I'm socially inept. Yeah.
Which is why also last week a few people pointed out that I was pretty much breathing into the microphone every time I made a point, or any time I said anything, or any time I agreed with you.
It was just so humid and warm as well. It was kind of hard to get breath in, you know. I think everybody was the same.
We've mitigated that by recording this one at 8 minutes to midnight, so hopefully we'll be.
We're actually at the minute we're actually recording with just a one single condenser mic, and then we're running it through a preamp, so it's picking the both of us up. So,
but anyway,
you shouldn't hear any.
That's not technical mumbo jumbo. So I'll give you the floor, because I've always taken these up and I've been like, oh yeah, so we'll start off talking about this. I feel like I'm very not dictatory, but just not very letting you have the floor as much as you maybe should get it, because you know it's half your podcast too.
Well, I mean, the first thing that's kind of on my mind, and I think it was it a week ago or was it 2 weeks ago now, is Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones has died, which obviously, I found quite sad anyway, because I'm a huge Stones fan. I mean, they've been on top for 60 fucking years, man. Holy shit. But before I actually found out he died, I actually had a dream the night before that I had bought tickets to go to see the Rolling Stones, so that was kind of freaky, kind of foreboding in a way. But
back to episode 1 too, where I was like, oh yeah, you know, you have a dream, you hear these people are kind of sick, and then you and then they do die. So like, did we foreshadow it in episode 1? Did we manifest destiny? Yeah. I don't know.
But no man, I'm obsessed with the Rolling Stones, and that was kind of sad, because you kind of expect those guys to live forever. I mean, look at Keith Richards, the kind of drug abuse he's been through, and even Mick Jagger as well. And his cardio is probably better than mine. Like the man had heart surgery, and then like 2 days later he put up a video on Instagram of him like dancing around his like studio and stuff like that. But
when you're on stage as well, like that sort of, like, you know, when you're singing in the shower and you're out of breath, so like you think these dudes are like on stage for how many years, running around the place, jumping and playing guitar and playing drums.
And I'm sure a bit of coke for the years probably.
Coke for the years doesn't go amiss.
But no, it's been a crazy career for those guys, definitely. I just hope they, like, I'm not sure if they will continue to tour or not, but I noticed before Charlie had died, whenever like obviously the band knew he was sick, they kind of put up something on Instagram saying they were getting someone to step in for him on the drums. So I'm not sure if they're going to take that approach, because I know they have a North American tour coming up. But if they do and they come back to Ireland, fuck, I'll be one of the first to buy tickets for it, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not really a big Stones fan. I don't want to like say anything sacrilegious or anything like.
Yeah.
You can't have those bands.
You know the hits, you know, Paint It Black and kind of Can't Get No Satisfaction and Angie and Wild Horses. And
like, you hear sort of people like, oh, that's our generation of music, and you're like, well, you know, music isn't like, you know, you don't have to.
I don't care. I'm taking your
generation of music. You're done with it.
And I'm also repping the Hendrix T-shirt too.
Yeah. YouTube exclusive. But no, like it's one of those things like you might not be a fan, but you know who the Stones are. Like everyone's heard of them.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of thing. Like the magazine as well has been out for how long, and then
the Rolling
I don't know if they're
Stones
related to the magazine.
I don't think it. See, it's kind of there's Muddy Waters, who was like an old blues figure, and he had a song. I can't remember the exact title, but it was something to do with Rolling Stones. So I'm assuming that's where they got their actual name from.
Yeah.
And then Bob Dylan also has a song called like a Rolling Stone. So
yeah, but like like they've been around as long as, maybe if not longer than the magazine, the Rolling Stones. So like people obviously have that in their mind, or they like look up for the magazine and they find a song and then they stumble on them.
I mean, those guys were friends with freaking John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Hendrix, Eric Clapton, everybody. It's nuts, like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I have an interesting story, which one of my friends actually told me about the Stones, which was it was kind of funny. Like obviously they've had a lot of like kind of drug abuse in the past. You always kind of associate Keith Richards with that sort of like chaotic lifestyle of like smoking all the time and whiskey and like heroin back in the day and stuff like that. And I fucking love Keith Richards. We always joke about Keith Richards and stuff like that. But there was actually an interesting documentary on Netflix about the Rolling Stones, and at the start of it just shows like Mick Jagger like doing like a line of coke off of a knife, and he's like looking around to see where all the cameras are. And then there's this reporter who actually comes in and he sees all these platters going around. He's like, Mick, I was meaning to ask you, I see all these platters going around of small pills. Do you care to elaborate? And he's like, oh, it's just pills full of salt or something like that there. But no, a funny story which I actually heard recently involving Charlie and Mick was Mick was kind of like I don't know if he was doing drugs or something, but he was kind of being a bit egotistical. He was calling up to Charlie's room demanding that his drummer comes down and sees him right now. So what Charlie did was he got up, put on a full like 3-piece suit or something like that there, because he was always well dressed. And my dad actually told me there at the weekend whenever I was talking to him, the past week, that apparently he would just like buy clothes and stuff like that there just to look at them and not wear them because he was really into fashion. But that's kind of besides the point. So
man after your own heart.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't buy clothes just to look at them. I do wear them, but I love clothes. But so he gets up, just puts on like a full 3-piece suit, goes down to Mick's room, opens the door, punches Mick in the face, and then just says, "I'm not your fucking drummer, you're my singer." And I thought that was such a badass move for Charlie, because he was always like seen as like the quiet figure who wasn't he kind of, I don't know if despised is the right word, but he wasn't into the same like lavish like rock star image that like Mick and Keith and Ronnie.
That's where you get the straight edge like punk people that are just sort of like they go and play the show and they're in bed by 9.
And I think he had been married to the same woman for 60 years as well.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But R.I.P. Charlie Watts. That's what I wanted to start the episode with.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of death and stuff this week that's happened. One I saw was the guy they based the Carl on and Up. Ed Asner. Yes, I remember hearing about that. I think you showed me that. No, my dad did actually.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. to Ed Asner as well. I looked him up. He was still very very into activism and stuff. And then. They based the movie on him, but he was in a few things before that as well, like way back in the day. I think he was 90. He's in his 90s, I think.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, at least he had a long enough.
A life lived.
It's the same way Charlie Watts. Like he died at 80, and I mean the life that man lived. Like
it's like they say, when people die young as well. It's like, well, sometimes, they might die young, but.
So the amount of stuff they did,
but the amount of stuff they done, like they've lived a life, but like when you have lived a life and actually lived a long time, it's like double impact.
What more could you ask for, I suppose?
Yeah, but like folks like Charlie Watts and who else in the band died recently? There was somebody else. But a thing I will say, it's probably quite apt for of all people Charlie, because I hadn't heard of him, but I had heard of the songs.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of the quiet figure in the band, so he wasn't,
someone doesn't really die until someone talks about them for the last time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Like I had never really heard of him, but I heard of the Stones, so like he'll live on through likely forever until there's no more men left to live.
Oh yeah. The day Keith Richards or like Mick die or whatever, like, fuck man, I'll have to take like 2 months off work. I'll just be in mourning.
Oblivion.
Yeah, R.I.P. Charlie. I think we've kind of went through that point quite a bit. But I guess my next talking point then is the kind of an album that was like very sought after this year and that people thought was never going to be released but finally has been released is Donda by Kanye West, which I actually heard is number one in the Irish charts at the minute, but I think you had given it a listen as well. I know Kanye's not really your thing or that sort of music, but what were your sort of initial kind of thoughts on it?
Oh, I mean, I have some notes. It is for an introduction to Kanye, it's probably not the best.
No. I think you should listen to like some.
My initial thought when I looked at how many songs were on it, I was like, "What?" Like I couldn't even think of a fancy expletive.
Yeah.
Combining both Kanye West and What the Fuck.
Yeah.
There were just so many songs, and I was like, surely these can't all be big songs.
Yeah.
And most of them are.
Yeah.
Like there's one song at the start where he just started chanting the name of the album, which reminded me of. Well, I think I said this to you. I couldn't contain this thought to keep it for the podcast, but it reminds me of when you say a word so much it doesn't sound like a word anymore.
Yeah, you nearly like miss-say it. Yeah.
And you're like, is that doesn't sound? Is this a word? Like Will name between. Is this a word?
Yeah. But I later found out that that first track, Donda, I later found out they like say his mom's name like 58 times, which is the edge she died on, which I thought was a nice touch, but it is a strange beginning to the album. But it's Kanye, so you kind of expect that sort of thing.
The cover being blank, I wasn't sure, was that a nod to Kanye being black, or it's named after his mom who is dead, so is it like the unknown that's...
See, my kind of thinking was because he had put up that post saying Universal kind of rushed his album and like put it out.
There's no cover.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought, because like everybody had been kind of like releasing this like artwork for Donda, which everybody was kind of sure was like gonna. It was this like really sort of colourful image, and they were sort of sure that was going to be the cover photo, but I don't know. It's just black.
It's just black.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it is just black on purpose because Kanye wants it to be mysterious and we have to decipher what it is. But it's like when you have an English teacher, it's like, oh, so when the author says the curtains were blue, this is actually a metaphor for his deep sadness and despair. And then it's like flashback to 1996 and the guy writing the book, curtains were blue.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is that like everybody's always looking for like a deeper meaning in something that there is
between the lines, or there is no lines to read between.
But another point I kind of want to bring up on that is I am like a Kanye fan, and I love his like sort of craziness and stuff like that. But I think there are people that just because it's Kanye, he could put out something that's trash, and they wouldn't say trash. Oh, there's like deeper meaning to this, and when there's really not. It's just the
deeper meaning is Kanye wanted a payday from record sales.
I don't think Donda's like nowhere near his like best album. Like his last album that he put out, Jesus is King, I think it was called. I really enjoyed it, and there are some great songs in Donda that I enjoy too. But I can't sit here and like blow smoke up his ass and say that I think it's like the best album he's ever created. Yeah,
I do have some notes on some of the songs. So we covered Donda. We covered the name of the record. It's his mom's name. Yeah. But he also made a creative content company, and it's called Donda 2.
Oh, really? I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. That means nothing to me. The song Jail on the record, it gave me big not big shipping off to Boston vibes, but you know that sort of like first note that he does, in my, you know when you hear a song start and like in your head you continue it. I ended up on shipping off to Boston, but then he kept playing. I was like, it sounds more like Crazy Train actually. But then it was just that same note over and over again. Yeah. See, there were some notable songs on the album I really liked. Off the Grid was one, but I don't kind of like the whole song. There's like some of the other rappers' verses on it that I don't really like, but like Kanye's like sort of verse near the end of it where he like sort of like he spit some bars, and I thought it was great. It's like, we off the grid. I either didn't get far enough to make notes or was just at the point where I was like, I don't want to make notes. I didn't like the start of it, but at the end of the song, Kanye has like a great couple of verses. Good riff. There's good flow to it. That's good. And then another song I really like off the album is I think it's called Junior or something. It's got like the backing track for it's class. It's got like a nice flow. It's got like that sort of
what would you call that, Black American, kind of gospel, sort of sample.
Oh, the exaggerated swagger of Black Teen.
Yeah, but it's I really enjoyed that song, and then the other song, I forget the title of it. I'm gonna actually look it up on my phone now.
Yeah. Whilst you're looking that up, I'll say your song Jail. Jay-Z recorded a verse on that. He apparently recorded his verse 4 hours before one of the listening parties.
Yeah, we need to talk about the listening parties.
Which is a whole other thing to talk about. But as well as that, so the song God Breathes, I thought was good. It was kind of like a Matrix-y kind of vibe, kind of like a dystopia future.
Yeah. Hurricane was pretty good. Praise God was pretty good. So the song I really liked off the album was called Believe What I Say. It kind of had these sort of party vibes. You could just be going on holiday, sort of nice scenery, and you could be playing that song in the background. It was kind of good vibes off of that song. It was one I really enjoyed. I think 24 as well was pretty interesting, but there was I thought there was a lot of production quality in the album. Kanye, something he's always been great at is kind of sampling stuff in the background, which I've always enjoyed in his albums. But yeah, man, those fucking listening parties were bizarre. And he stayed in the Benz Stadium in Atlanta for a month or something.
Live streamed himself in Poland.
Yeah, apparently he just live streamed to random pubs and stuff, and it would just be him sleeping and stuff, and then he would get up. And just
Before we go too much further, you said something there, and I think it might actually have been too far because I've actually forgotten it. But you said, what did you say? It made me think of something there, and
Kanye sampling stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the sampling. So for one of his songs, I can't remember what song it is, but he sampled I think it's 21st Century Schizoid Man.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And someone put that song on, and I was like, "Oh, you're playing." I'm like, I love that song, 21st Century, and she's like, "What? It's Kanye."
Yeah.
It's like,
but it just shows you to people our age, maybe just what we sort of listen to all sorts of genres of music and stuff, but people our age might just be into Kanye or something. But it just shows you that Kanye himself is actually into all these sort of different
all other music.
Yeah, which is nice to see. I think Tupac was somebody who he was into rock and stuff like that, and he sampled Led Zeppelin in his song. What was that called? Life's So Hard. He sampled Led Zeppelin, 10 Years Gone, which is one of my favourite songs, so that's something that made me respect Tupac a bit more. But yeah, man, those
stadiums and the streams. Those
listening parties, man, and the album would change every sort of time.
Yeah, he's one of those those girls you see on Twitch, I need to go to sleep. I'm doing a 24-hour stream, so I'll stream myself to sleep, and then their ass hanging out of the bed. Or something, and you're like, oh yeah, that seems like a real accident. So the album party changed. I'm curious to know, was it a totally different album at all 3 parties, which means he has 3 different versions of 27 songs.
I don't know if totally different would be the word, but I think definitely verses and who's kind of featuring on them, because I know I saw that Soulja Boy was kind of complaining on Twitter because Kanye had asked him to come down and do some verses, but then the verses weren't on the album, and then Soulja Boy was going off on Kanye, you're wasting my time, and
Kanye,
you could have just told me you didn't like the verse and stuff. But was that universal, just a rush in the album, or was that Kanye just cutting it out?
They rushed it out and they cut out the DVD verses.
Yeah. But I think that's because of his rants and stuff.
Yeah, and then they put them back in. And then Marilyn Manson was at listening parties, but nobody seems to be able to place them all on the record.
No, I couldn't hear him on the record.
So maybe it was just in one of the listening parties he had a verse or a bit.
What do you think Kanye's kind of thinking was because he had I think it was the final listening party, he had his old childhood home or whatever.
Yeah, and he set on fire and stuff.
Yeah, but then he had Marilyn Manson and DaBaby on the porch, and they were all just sort of vibing. What do you think the purpose of it was?
I don't know what his thinking was. I think his thinking was.
I think he's trying to show that through, because he's on his
his
God thing, that he anybody can be redeemed or something.
Yeah, well that's the thing I thought as well. I thought maybe the album in parts might have got a bit too preachy.
You should listen to Jesus is King then. But, I sort of like I wouldn't consider myself like amazingly religious, but like see all that sort of gospel music, like the way Kanye would do like Sunday sermons and stuff, like all the I love all that stuff. Like I think it sounds great.
Yeah, there's some songs like gospel songs and stuff. Like obviously they're good. Like music's music. Every genre has a hit.
Yeah.
Or a few.
Like I said, it's great. Like people can get like kind of behind the gospel music, like sort of be happy and stuff. So that's good.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, he's spreading his word.
Yeah, but I know 100%. I get what you're saying about getting too preachy.
Yeah.
Points.
I think it's a thing. Is he doing it because he wants sort of like the publicity of having been this turned around Christian, or has he, as they say, found God?
I don't know. I think he kind of has found God, and he has like bipolar as well. So he's like he's not exactly the most normal person, which is what I love. Like I get that's a big thing in my head as well. Like I love people who are just like a bit like fucking crazy and just do things that people say that they shouldn't.
You're a bit mad.
As long as they're not like doing awful crimes.
Stuff. Yeah. I want to go out and do crimes. Actually, you're down.
But yeah.
No, I think is thinking. I don't really think he was thinking. He was either just doing it because he could do it, or was he trying to see was he too big to fail?
I think Kanye's big thing as well is that he always wants to be pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. Or maybe they just agreed to do it, and they're like, well, yeah, if you're cancelling me coming, Kanye, I want money back and stuff.
Yeah,
that's the thing I wanted. I saw that he did the whole getting back together with Kim thing.
Yeah,
the listening party. Was that actually getting back with Kim? Like, did they get divorced as a publicity stunt for the record?
I don't think so. Like I saw they were like sort of chatting to each other like backstage at one of the listening. I think it was the first one, but in the final listening party, like Kim wearing the dressing gown and like them having like a fake wedding. What was that?
Fake wedding? Was that them just getting back together? Was it all publicity stuff?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
You never know. Would have more impact. I'm like, oh look, they were going to get together.
I think Kim's had like 3 marriages though, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, one of them lasted a whole 72 days, which is, I suppose, good for her.
Yeah.
Get your money, girl.
Who am I to judge famous people? Like,
who am I to judge? They're never married.
Yeah.
But yeah, a thing I wanted to talk about as well. We're on music kind of. I think I've really talked about as much as I could really sort of get from the Kanye record.
Yeah.
But,
Bottom line, I thought it was like it was pretty decent, but it's not like the most amazing album he's ever put out. And Drake's new album, Certified Lover Boy, came out, which is I think is pretty decent too. I'd be a fairly big Drake fan too. But anyways, and
I haven't finished on that either.
No.
So feel free to educate me on Anchor messages, which are only voice messages. I've had confusion. Some people have been asking for the link to Anchor because I said I would put it in the description of the YouTube video, and then I didn't. So a few of the YouTube viewers were like, "Oh, where's Anchor at? How do I do Anchor?" And I sent the link, and I seem to have applied that you can leave text messages.
Yeah.
You can't. Voice messages. If you want to leave a text message, watch us on YouTube and leave a comment, or
quit your scratching zone.
Instagram. Quit your scratching. Yes. Also, I have a very bad skin condition, and I keep scratching myself, and I don't even notice I'm doing it. So yeah. Bottom line, if you want to get in touch with us with your own voice and be on the podcast, send an Anchor voice message. Otherwise, if you just want us to bring up what you said as like, from last week, someone said that I was actually talking out my hole. Leave it as a comment on YouTube or on Instagram, or direct message us.
Which is false because I'm never wrong.
Anywhere. Yeah, we're never wrong, so you're just fake news. What I want to talk about, bring up Nirvana getting sued.
Oh yes.
I mean, I was kind of on board with it because
he was a child at the baby at the time.
Not
really have a say.
Not very long before the story broke, I was like, I saw like the record in I think I was in HMV just walking around, and I saw the record like on their like vintage era. I saw it somewhere, and the first thought I had when I looked at it was like, wait, did they actually put a baby stick on the cover?
Oh yeah, they did. Nevermind. Yeah, it's right on the cover. It's one of the album covers. It's like one of those album covers I really don't like.
Just lock your face. And
I love Nirvana. Nirvana are one of my favorite bands, but I really don't like the album cover.
And I thought, right, well, I'd say he had some ground here. Until then, I also read that like every 2 years or something, he recreates the cover.
Yeah.
So he's embracing it on one hand.
Must just be low on money, man.
Yeah, it really boils down to he's come out and said, I'm okay with this, I'm going to recreate the cover.
Yeah.
I recreated the cover like however long afterwards, and I've done this, and like I've embraced it, and I've been like, he's still friends with the photographer.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to, he turned around one day and said to himself, but what if I wasn't okay with this? And then decided to sue them.
I suppose he's just found himself in this lucky position that like this like sort of fucking
He can.
fame like he's in this position where he just can.
They like just pay him to go away.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But like suing a dead man and his wife.
Yeah. Well, I think Courtney owns the rights to the Nirvana songs now.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because Kurt probably wrote most of them, and she's just inherited them. Not a lawyer, by the way. So if you feel like leaving a voice message to correct us there, please don't. We know we're wrong.
We don't actually.
We don't know how it works. We just know that's what it is. Yeah.
But no, I thought that was pretty interesting too, and I don't know. I guess I can see him probably getting like some money out of it because it did happen when he was like a fucking fetus and he didn't really have any say.
Yeah, that's just you're just vibing.
But other than that, I fucking love Nirvana. So,
like he was just vibing one day. Like like his mum went out to work and like he was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm chilling with daddy for the day. The next thing you know, he's getting thrown face first.
You want to be in a Nirvana video, son?
Yeah. You want to be in a Nirvana photo shoot? Throw him in the water.
I know. If you watch I think it's Come As You Are, or else it is Come As You Are. If you watch the music video for that, he's actually in the music video too, in the water. So they must have done it from the Come As You Are shoot and then put it on the album.
He recreated something. And he like it was either a video or the cover. He did the cover. I think he also did the video where he like met the band or was talking to Dave. I don't know.
He's probably linked up with Dave Grohl at some point.
He basically embraced it all, but then decided, you know, I want more money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone that comes forward about certain things like this are just after money. It's just when they have a clear pattern of embracing it and then deciding, I'm not okay with this anymore.
I think there's a 99.9% chance this guy's after money.
You know, he was literally asked point blank, well, why are you doing this? Oh, well, yeah, I have in the past been embracing it, but I have thought one day, what if I wasn't okay with all of this?
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking nuts. That's like somebody like having sex and then going, wait, what if I decided I wasn't okay with that?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, you know. But yeah, no,
that's entirely.
That's an interesting topic, definitely.
Yeah. Something I thought of whilst you were talking about one of the earlier points. I think it was. I think it was one of the Kanye songs.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do with. So you're going to be like, how did you even get from Kanye to this? But and you might have heard this before. So like, you know, when you think about something.
Yeah.
Like say if you were reading, like if you're reading a book, would you hear your own voice in your head reading the book as if you were reading it out loud, or do you just look at the words and like?
I don't know if it's I definitely like hear like a kind of voice, but I don't think it's not my voice. It's like somebody else's voice, and I'm not like sure whose voice that is all the time. Yeah. But for example, I'm reading David Goggins' book at the minute, as I like mentioned. Well, I finished the book I was reading.
That's James
Smith's. So I've only started David Goggins' book, but because I've heard David Goggins speak in all of his videos, I'm actually reading the book in his voice.
Yeah. Well, so like imagine you're like thinking like about like say your day. Like you're thinking, well, I have to go and do this tomorrow when I'm doing this later, and like I'm doing the podcast.
No, it's definitely a voice, but I don't know if it's my voice. Yeah, it's kind of
weird. But like, okay, so some people, so that's called an internal monologue, right?
Yeah.
So that's like your own thought processes. Like so, like when you're doing maths or something, like you're thinking about fives and sixes, but you do.
No, I'm just crying.
I just look at it and go. But there are some people, like if you ask them something. Like if you ask a question and like, you know, when you have to think about something when you're sort of like walking through it in your head.
Yeah.
Like these people just don't have a monologue that says, oh, so you were there and then you did this and then you went, like, you know, what did you do today? Or like, what did you do after 6? And then you think to yourself, Okay, well, one I woke up and then at 2, and then I went there and then it was after 6. Well, I was down
They
there.
just get like straight to it.
They literally just sit there in silence and don't hear anything in their head, and then just come out with what they did after 6.
Yeah. Is that beneficial, do you think, or?
I don't know, like, I don't know if there's been any like research or anything done around it.
I suppose they could kind of get like rid of like something like fucking like mental clutter and like overthinking and stuff like that if you're able to kind of just get like straight to
like they don't have that internal like
dialogue.
Like when they're reading.
Oh.
Like you're reading David Goggins' book in his voice.
Yeah.
You read James's in his.
I did, because I've heard him speak.
You've heard him speak, but like, if it was a complete stranger, it would probably be like a bass voice that you've always had in your head.
Yeah, but like say for a book that has like a female character speaking or something, like I'll do it in like a female voice, like just a generic female voice.
But you have like a voice in your head.
Yeah.
But these people will just look at a book. They won't hear anything.
That just doesn't make sense to me. How could you even?
How do you think?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
But yeah, like because there's quite a lot of people I know. My fiance doesn't have one.
Really?
Yeah,
it's just our ADHD brains.
Yeah, my mom doesn't have one. Like everyone I thought to ask doesn't have one. I think I'm weird. I'm like, oh, that must be why you're so good. No, it's not why I'm so good at that. I'm normal.
I get this thing too. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes when I have like trouble sleeping, I have this thing where I'll be like kind of like half asleep, like maybe in like the light stage of sleep or whatever. But I'll have this thing where I have like, it feels like it's like 100 racing thoughts at once, and it's like all these like voices like talking over each other. Like, do you ever get something like that?
No, I don't have anything like that. Sometimes, like I'll close my eyes.
Yeah.
And then like I'll take a breath, and as I'm breathing, like I just see this rainbow flash of colours.
Oh yes,
coming across my vision.
Do you ever like get it? Whatever, it's like a really dark room or something.
Like a million wee dots.
Yeah, well I get that now. Like I can see like dots, but do you ever get it where you're in like a dark room and you're lying in bed and it feels like there's like flashes of light or something sometimes or something like that?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like whenever I rub my eye or something, like it goes sort of like dark in one spot. Ugh.
It's mad.
I don't know. Just
I've never.
And then you think you're dying, and you're like,
I've never really had like any sort of kind of sleep paralysis as such that I've really noticed.
Yeah, no,
there was like one time, but I don't know if that was a dream or if that actually happened, where I like kind of turned and there was this like I don't know, like a ghost of like an old woman or something. But I just kind of stared and then she like went away. So I don't know if that was like
sometimes I get that. Or I wake up and I'm like, there's somebody in the room.
And then I realised, and then it was like, well, then like they just went away whenever I was like, okay, right.
Then I realised it's just the clothes chair. My hoodie's sticking.
To get kind of off track and a wee bit spooky. Whenever I was younger, like apparently my mum said like this was in the first house we lived in Mount Street actually. But apparently the house was like an old house from the 1940s. But apparently when I was like a 3 or 4. Like there was a night where I refused to go up the stairs because I was like, no, there's an old woman standing at the top of the stairs, like I'm not going up to sleep, and I was crying and stuff. But then my mum said like she had like some supernatural shit going on in that house too, where she had like nappies at one side of the room and there was nobody else in the house. Then she went downstairs, heard a thud, came back upstairs, and the nappies were sitting at the other side of the room and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
man.
So I don't know if you believe in like supernatural shit or whatever, but apparently when I was younger I had like some sort of like supernatural experiences, and according to my family I was always like obsessed with like drawing witches and coffins and shit, which was always kind of strange too. Yeah.
Well,
that's getting really off track.
Yeah, but I don't have any supernatural experiences. I have a pretty normal upbringing. Not gonna lie.
Maybe I just had a really fucking creative mind.
Yeah, well, like there's a story I have like I don't know. Do you remember when I lived in the old house and we were like playing Guitar Hero or something? Uh-huh. There was the TV like mounted on a thing up on the wall in the corner. I had just got a new TV, so my mum my mum was mounting that one for the first time.
Yeah.
Or was it the second? No, she was trying to put one in my room.
Yeah.
And so she put the TV on it, and like she was just bent down underneath it, because you know like after you drill in the wall, that sort of the drywall comes out and just it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So she was like bent down cleaning it, and she had absolutely no need to. For some reason, she just stood up the second she stood up, the TV just fell straight down. I remember that really big grey one I had. It was that big fucker straight right where she was like fucking bending over. Jeez. Like I don't mean like she would have had a sore back and she would have like I mean like I would have walked up and saw my man lying dead on the floor.
Jesus.
Like and she was like, oh, that's scary. That must be your granda.
So I was thinking a near death experience. I was like, well, why is granda trying to fuck a TV out?
Well, I think she was coming from her granda made me stand up.
But, oh right, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
That's you just jumping the gun.
It's all or nothing with me, as you always say.
As I say. We don't know who will offend if we get into the stories of why we say that, but yeah.
But no, that is nuts. That's kind of like a near death experience.
Yeah, it's crazy. And another thing that really kind of, it doesn't annoy me. I don't know. I was going to say, you know what really annoys me? It doesn't annoy me.
You don't really grinds my gears.
You don't really grinds my gears, Lois. No, it annoys me. It doesn't annoy me.
Are you sure?
I was going to say it annoys me, but it doesn't. It freaks me out. Like, you know, you're driving somewhere, and it's quite far away, and you know there's like a whole lot of roundabouts, but then you get where you're going, and
you haven't like consciously thought about what you had to do. Did
I just wheel through that? Did I actually look there at that roundabout? Or I
think that's partly because you kind of like if it's somewhere you've been a lot, you've been through it so much that your brain just has like the muscle memory.
Yeah, just an autopilot. But it's like
I get that like before there's like certain things I'll do, like maybe I'm in a meeting or something before I go into a meeting, like 2 minutes before it, and I'm kind of overthinking. I'm like, oh shit, what if I forget like how to talk like a normal human being, or like you like start overthinking in your head. But then whenever the meeting's over, you're like, oh fuck, I completely forgot about that worry, like or whatever. Like I think you like can tend to overthink things, but then whenever you actually do it, and you're just like you subconsciously just like do it like with ease or whatever.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. It just kind of freaks me out sometimes. I'm like, man, I could have been killed. I could have killed somebody. I just wheeled through there, but like you probably were looking.
I get that too. It was like, what if I just go to or something? Yeah. I think that's kind of like like intrusive thoughts and stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of along that vein of things. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting.
I don't know, it's just a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's just some kind of things about people, like, because we are all people, we all have the same general parts, like, you know, we've all brains and eyes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's so many like unique things with us all, like we all, like we could all see colour differently.
Yeah,
but
well, some people do who are colourblind, but yeah.
No, but like we don't know, like we know people are colourblind, but like we don't know, like.
Yeah.
I could look and see a colour and call it black.
Yeah.
And you could look and see the same colour and call it black. But what you see and call black, I see and call purple.
Do you ever like get it too where you might like you might have like not like an ailment or like, but do you ever have like you think you like, hopefully this makes sense, but like you think you're feeling normal, but to somebody else like the way you are could actually be like really fucking outrageous or something, whereas you think it's like normal.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean. That always kind of interests me too.
Pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
Here's a thing I read on LinkedIn, which kind of brings us on topic, but also off topic, because we're coming off that last topic. And we're talking about something else.
Yeah, makes sense.
Segue, smooth.
Swerve.
I hate this job.
Fuck this job.
Goes into work. So it was on LinkedIn, I saw this, but the link I'm going to put in the show notes is to a Medium article because I couldn't find the LinkedIn article again when I went looking. But basically, so Starbucks has a loyalty card. It's not a loyalty card, it's like a Starbucks card, I don't know what they call it, the Bucks card. I don't know. You put money on it, and then you go in and you're like, I want a drink. You put your wee Starbucks card in. So it's kind of like a bank because you deposit money. But if you can't take the money out, you can only get coffee with it. So you put money in, get more coffee.
Yeah.
That's it. You technically do transact, but you get coffee for it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a bank, but kind of not like a bank. So like normal banks, if I put money in, they have to keep money on hand for me to take out. But because you can't take money out, you can't withdraw the funds on your Starbucks card. You can only get coffee. Like it's in the terms and conditions. You put money in, you get coffee out. That's it. They don't have to keep money on hand for people just taking their money back out.
Yeah.
So basically, when you put your money on your Starbucks card, they can spend that on whatever they want.
And then just get.
Because obviously you put $10 in,
Yeah.
you like, and that'll get you 3 coffees because they're like $3 each.
But they can do whatever
That gives
they
them
want with that $10.
That gives them $10.
Yeah.
They sure as hell aren't spending $10 making your coffee. That's like
No.
99% profit.
Yeah.
So they're getting loads of money in, and all they have to give you is a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Which,
They basically
it's,
give
it's
you
very
free coffee,
little to them.
which is why they can just open up like 100 new stores every so often, or like they're not a bank, but basically that's kind of how it works.
Luckily, I'm not a big coffee drinker, so Starbucks can get my money. Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that's interesting.
Where is it here? I'm looking at it here. So at the end of 2019, users held a collective $1.5 billion in balances. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but apparently there's more than 3,900 banks across the US that have less than $1 billion in total assets. So if you take all the assets that those 3,900 banks have and put them together, they have less than Starbucks has in gift card money.
Fuck, that's fucking nuts, man.
So Starbucks holds more cash than many banks,
Damn.
including, not including PayPal. That's quite funny here. There's a graph. It says Starbucks holds more cash than many banks. And then it's PayPal, SVB, SunTrust, American Express, the Bank Corp, then Starbucks, then Customers Bank, and one other bank. So they're right at the end of this thing. But basically, so Starbucks' customers are giving them $1.5 billion.
And they've got like
no
cheap
interest.
ass cups of fucking coffee.
All they get is coffee back. So all they have to do is just, not pay coffee. Because you can only withdraw coffee, so the money piles up. And then obviously they just need to buy coffee, but so that's only a small amount of what they spend money on. But to you get the same amount of beans out, so you don't notice.
That's fucking nuts.
But yeah,
read the terms and conditions, people.
Read the terms and conditions. Don't give Starbucks your money. Go local. Talking of local, this town that we live in, I don't know should we say it or not, so I'm not going to. Just to be on the caution side. Although everyone listening knows us, so.
Yeah.
But just in case it gets big.
Yeah. I have faith.
Like, no matter where you look, there's a coffee shop in this town.
Yeah.
Like, everything in the town has basically... There used to be loads of restaurants and places that I liked going to, and then you look and see the shut down, and...
Yeah, partly because of COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Starbucks here, and it got driven out of town, which is pretty good, because they were making enough money.
Where was the Starbucks at?
You know where the CX shop is?
Oh, yes.
Corner?
Yeah, okay.
I think.
Oh, fuck, that's right, I've been in the Starbucks.
Somebody else can correct me.
Yeah. When I was a wee
if
boy.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's I wanted to say about that because it kind of blew my mind. Not another evil American corporation.
Yeah.
Because they have all that money, and like everyone says, "Oh, Jeff Bezos could end hunger," but like, Jesus, so could Starbucks.
Yeah. So could a lot of fucking
So could all these
companies.
places. PayPal has $13 billion of assets. So could they. But yeah, so that's what I really thought. I wanted to bring that up.
No, that's crazy. I didn't know that. So that's pretty.
It's something you don't
interesting.
normally think about. And I saw on LinkedIn, why Starbucks is like a bank. Starbucks is like a bank. This is going to be clickbait. And then I read it and I was like, they're joking.
Mind blown. But I know it's as I said, coffee's not something I really drink. Like if I'm going somewhere with you guys or whatever, I'll get like a frappe or something. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of coffee.
The takeaway here, folks, is go to the link tree in our bio and click on the wee dollar sign and give us your money, and we'll give you podcasts.
Yeah, that's it.
We're gonna
Pay
be
you back in
two pals
podcasts.
bank. You give us money, we give you one podcast a week. Maybe one podcast every 2 weeks if you want a day off. Yeah, everything else. I've got one sort of light topic I want to maybe finish up with, but everything else is kind of either big talking or big, just big depression.
Go for it, Megan. Go for it.
I know we want to talk about the 4-day week.
Yes, that's true. I also wanted to bring up China. I saw it on BBC News. I think it was on LinkedIn that China are bringing in something where if you're under 18, then they're only going to let you play video games 3 hours a week. So I wanted to kind of gauge your thoughts on that, because I mean, when I was younger, I used to play games all the time, but not so much now. But I know you're still like an avid fan of games. So what's your kind of opinion on that?
Well, speaking as a games developer,
well, as a games
I think as many children as possible should be playing games. Yeah. No, I think it's good to kind of limit it, because I know myself, I've sort of let deadlines and stuff fall by the wayside just so I can play games. And then sort of cack my bags a bit when I'm like, oh, hang on boys, this is due, whenever. But also, like they say, if you leave it at the last minute, it only takes you a minute.
That's it. That Elon Musk, I actually read something Elon Musk had said something like that. Like if you give yourself 30 days to clean your room, it'll take you 30 days. But if you give yourself like 30 minutes, it'll take you 30 minutes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's kind of exaggerated for like fucking university. Like if you're doing your final year project, 30 minutes ain't going to cut it properly. 30 minutes.
30 minutes will get you loaded up, and then you're like, right, what do I do?
But yeah, no, kind of to like sort of add to that, like I think like even as someone who doesn't really play games, like I still find myself kind of procrastinating. Like for like if you stop doing something, you just find something else to procrastinate.
Well, yeah, that's it. So
which is like watching movies or just like scrolling through fucking social media.
It kind of links back to do video games cause violence? Which if you think they do, they don't. You're wrong. Read a book. Yeah. It's like, oh, Waynes shouldn't be playing these games. These they should be regulated, or they shouldn't be playing games because games cause violence and stuff. And I was like, right, well, like you're Wayne's 16, right? He plays GTA, which is an 18, and then he goes out and like punches a hooker. That doesn't really happen an awful lot. Like they really extreme cases of things on them, and it's like it's not really fair though. Like,
I know. I feel like they get like this 1 in a million case, and then like use it as you see it's like a one anomaly, like out of like a whole.
It's like our parents that are like, oh, it's the games. It's like, or could it be the fact that you down a bottle of wine every Friday night and just let your Wayne run around and do whatever he wants?
Well, there's also that.
Like Marilyn Manson, who is risky topic, but before he was cancelled, he did an interview where he sat with all these parents that were like concerned about it, and
was this after Columbine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did an interview, and I can't really remember exactly what he said, but like he was kind of on the nose, and a lot of it applied to games too. Like music, it's how he expresses his thoughts and feelings and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, just do your own research around things. Yeah. I used to have a lot of really good points about this, but people haven't been stupid enough recently for me to brush up on the argument. But a lot of it comes down to like, alright, so video games should be banned because two dudes did whatever after playing whatever in Call of Duty. But like, how many other things?
Well, this happened in 1999, so that like this was even before like Call of Duty was a thing.
Oh,
but yeah.
I don't mean Columbine in general. Because the Columbine guys are playing Doom or something.
Yeah,
which is about running through hell, shooting demons in the face.
not
really realistic. Yeah. Like, I mean, you look back in the day and like at the graphics and stuff that are graphics are really not at all realistic, and you look at the movies back then when everything was practical effects. Which one do you think was causing more violence?
Probably movies, yeah.
when you could literally see something rip a head off.
I think the Columbine guys. I think their like favorite movie was Natural Born Killers, which is like a graphic sort of movie. I actually really like that movie, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and like fucking
Yeah, because like it comes down to on games as well, because games and alcohol aren't really regulated as well as games isn't regulated as well as alcohol is, which is what I meant to say. Like if you walk into a video game shop with your very small child, clearly knowing nothing about games because you ask for a copy of the Grand Theft Autos on the PlayStations, thinking you're being pure, getting around the system. Literally hand it to your 12-year-old, or your 12-year-old hands it to you to pay for.
Yeah.
The guy behind the counter has no obligation at all to not sell you that game, but literally just has to say, that's an 18, like, you can run around in this game and kill hookers, like, are you okay with your child playing that? But a lot of the time they don't bother because they're all 16 and they just got their first job, they don't really care.
Yeah.
So they just like, well, you're as mad. You think you can clearly see with your eyeballs, and that says 18. Like if this was a film, you wouldn't be allowed to like go in and see this, even if you were accompanying him. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But like, you can clearly see, so that's fine.
Bottom line is that
it's the parent's responsibility. If you don't like your child playing violent games, step up and stop your child playing fucking games.
We played violent games and look how we turned.
Look how we started a podcast. So maybe that didn't feel worse than death. Like.
But what was I going to say is like I think your point about like violence in video games is definitely good. But I think I was kind of reading that article about what China's proposing, and I think it was more that they want the kids to like kind of like productive members of society, and they kind of like support their families and stuff more, to kind of be more practical. So what's your kind of thoughts on that, like to like sort of
have you seen that episode of Black Mirror? Do you watch Black Mirror?
I like watched the first season of it, but I haven't like seen anything.
There was an episode, I think it was in the first season, where this doll was going to somebody's wedding. And she like, everyone had these really high ratings on social media, but she was only a 15 or something.
Right.
And she couldn't get anywhere. No, she was like 5-star, but then she had like a mental breakdown or something, and then like she was brought down to like a 1-star, and then she couldn't do anything. She couldn't rent a car. She couldn't go anywhere. Because everyone rated her so low. Basically, China now, I don't know if it works quite the same way yet, but I've heard they're planning on it too. Have a social credit system.
Like a rating for their...
Yeah, like rating people.
That's fucking nuts, yeah.
Yeah, so like if your social credit rating gets low, the Gestapo lands round at the door. Stop going on the streets, you're not productive. They just take you to gulag, night, goodbye.
Jesus.
So they're going more that way with it. So I guess if you're not out and about...
So that could pretend this whole sort of gaming thing could pretend, like, I don't know too much about it obviously, but it could be part of their agenda.
Part of the social credit system, I don't know. I mean, you don't have to be that tight and controlling to be a productive society. Like, I get they have the largest GDP in the world because of all the manufacturing and stuff there. So they obviously make more than they have people, but then they just send it everywhere else and they get more money for sending it out. But like post-war Germany, like America and like EU and stuff, spend all their money like, oh yes, we won the war, we'll treat the people, we'll do this, we'll do that. Meanwhile, Germany was just like hyper efficient with everything. Like there's books out about it now and stuff, like Germany, lessons from a grown-up country. Because like as a country, Germany is just so far culturally advanced, like, and Japan as well. So like, I don't think really having a tight lock on things is gonna, like, you know yourself, it's basic psychology. The more someone's told they can't do something, the more they want to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
If you're going to suppress your whole, you're in China. How many people are in China now? Oh, 2 billion. Have they hit 2 billion yet?
I have no idea.
Because I know they were trying to relax the one-child policy to 2 now. So I think they slowed down.
I have no idea about that.
Either way, like when I was in secondary school 4-6 years ago, they were coming up on 1.5 billion.
I was just kind of thinking, they're like, what are they going to do if they like catch someone playing video games for 4 hours instead of 3? Like, what's going to happen?
Well,
I don't know,
but it's just one of those things. Like, if you put your whole population under a certain age, who already don't listen to their parents,
they're just gonna laugh.
Because like it's their parents that are going to have to do this. The police can't be in everybody's house saying, right, that's it, you're out.
No more fucking video games.
Yeah, no more video games for you, sir. Yeah, so like fucking here. Like in China as well, there's like the social issues because of the one-child policy. Again, I don't know, is it as much of an issue anymore? Yeah. But they have little emperor syndrome. So they have their one child, and if their one child is a male, then they just spoil. Like, you've seen the little dude. I don't know if you've seen him. He was all over the internet a few years ago. I say a few, but it could very well be over 11. I keep forgetting how old I am. But like, the little Chinese dude in the like rollabout stroller thing.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah. He's a product of little emperor syndrome because the parents can only have one child.
And he was really obese, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, because they want a boy to look after them when they grow up. So basically, oh, you're a little gift, you're the bit, you know. Meanwhile, when it's a girl, they flush them down the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't know if China's like that now.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Changes and stuff. Like it's been 6-7 years since I've studied anything remotely relevant to it. But when you have the little emperor syndrome, they're not told they can't do things because the parents want them to like them when they get old, so they look after them. So I'm assuming on top of normal children attitudes here.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, oh, you're just my man. You can't tell me what to do. You don't know what it's like to be my age.
Yeah.
I'm the same thing. I would assume would happen. They'd just be like, I'm not listening to you. I don't care. I'll go to prison, and then they get executed or something.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
But like apart, I don't know. Is it too far? Like it obviously is because it's a Hollywood movie. But like in the Karate Kid, the remake with Jaden Smith. Like the doll he was interested in, she was like violin school, after school, like everything.
Well,
that's been their culture, I think, for absolutely.
It's definitely a big stereotype, but I think like in a lot of cases, like it is kind of like true that like they sort of do have like a strict.
Like they're a lot more driven.
Yeah.
I think. And like it is like even Asian people himself. I don't know if he was joking, but Simu Liu did an AMA recently on Reddit. It was Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, and then somebody commented that was, I think, Asian, was like, 10 rings, why not 11? You know, like Asian parents, why not better? And Simu Liu just replies, you sound just like my dad. So like I don't know, are they playing with a stereotype or are Asian parents really strict? But I think they are.
I think for the most part a lot of them seem to be anyway from what I've gathered.
But then specifically when it's China, because Asia's a big place, like when it's China specifically, they have then obviously the whole one child policy thing and the whole little emperor syndrome, so some of them are more reluctant to punish them. And then obviously they don't. And they get
so you can see it being quite difficult for the parents to actually try and enforce this.
So I don't know how it'll work. Our games console is gonna, because I know it's very hard. The Great Firewall of China. It's very, very hard to do things in and out. Because there's people I've read on Reddit, they like maintain systems for their company, and they have a server inside China and a server outside China, and round trip time for a ping into the China server was like 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, going through the firewall. So, like it would be cheaper and quicker to fix the problem to fly to China and fix it and leave again. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. Are they going to get like Sony and Microsoft to like put in chips that just cut them off no matter who they are?
Again, I don't know how seriously this is going to be kind of implemented because it's something I saw on LinkedIn, so I don't know if it's
Well, that's it. Oh, something else I saw.
Yep.
I don't know, someone tagged me in it because they heard us talking about it in the podcast. But remember, we speculated that Apple's child exploited material plans have been delayed.
Yeah.
They most definitely have been. It's confirmed.
Yeah.
So they're going to kind of push that back a bit. So maybe updates will be smaller from now on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I bet. It's kind of expected, as you said. Someone was able to like reverse engineer their algorithm.
Yeah. Get a better algorithm, kid.
Yeah.
Or just stop putting it in the code. Like just do it server side. Don't ship it. But then they want to try and be privacy preserving. But in order to verify that they are privacy preserving, you need to know a very big amount about whatever. But I'm sure you could do an awful lot of privacy preserving stuff server side as well. Like PHP works.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, there have been very big leaks, but that has been due to sheer incompetence rather than PHP being bad, even though PHP is bad.
So it's not fun to write.
So moving on from limiting kids to 3 hours of games a week, the 4-day working week. There is a YouTuber who also does a podcast. He did a podcast for quite a lot of episodes out. He might have stopped. CGP Grey. He is a fan of having a break in the middle of the week and a break on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that you basically have your working week is 3 days long. So you have like Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday. No,
you'd be in Thursday, wouldn't you? If you're having a break in the middle of the week and then a break on Sunday, so it'd be Monday, Tuesday,
yeah,
Thursday,
Monday,
Friday.
Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. Because you have you're like your week long back. Like you wake up on a Monday feeling kind of like ready for the week. Even though for me it's more of like a build up.
You sort of peak and then
because like the first thing on a Friday you can't be bothered doing nothing, and the last thing on a Friday you're definitely done.
You feel so productive, but then it's home time.
I know apparently a lot of people are kind of just like they start off well on a Monday and then as they work they get a lot more depleted. So like it kind of you get a wee bit depleted, then it's the off day. And then
you'd have to take a break to like sort of recharge.
You don't get as burned out.
My only kind of like it'd be cool like if you're like I think the idea for the 4-day work week is to kind of like you work less hours but you still get the same amount of pay from what I've heard anyway. But I think they've trialled it in like Iceland and I'm not sure where else they've trialled it. But
they're starting in Scotland, I think.
Are they? Right. But my only kind of concern with that is like obviously deadlines and stuff can't really change, so you're kind of going to be under a bit more pressure with one last day to do the work.
Well, I think I think if you take the amount of meetings people have to sit in and endure throughout a week, but that could take up a day.
But yeah, because you're like it's not like you can like decrease the amount. Like sometimes a lot of those meetings are kind of mandatory, so it's not like you can kind of decrease the amount of meetings. Like sometimes you'll still and then you'll have less time to do them.
I think things like stand-ups and stuff, which is basically saying what you've done and what
they only last for like 15 minutes at max.
That's a lot of 15 minutes though. Like
it is.
You get in, you get set it up, you start work, then you have to go to a meeting, then you come back, then you sort of start going, then you're in the flow, then you have to stop and go for lunch.
100%. It sort of ruins your flow, especially if you're like in like if you're like trying to solve a problem or something. I can see how it could definitely
like when a meeting can't be an email, just send me an email.
So I don't know how you're going like 3 layers deep into something, trying to like figure it out, and then like you get interrupted, then you have to like go like the whole way back to the top.
It's I don't know. It's a thing I think. So obviously like taking it like one day in the middle and then Sunday is better, but then obviously you don't have Saturday off, which might just be weird for a lot of people. I don't know.
Yeah, it would definitely take some getting used to, because like it's kind of been the 9 to 5 Monday to Wednesday for like years.
Yeah, I think the kind of blended working thing, like sort of half online, half in the office, or like sort of more online or less in the office, or work however you want.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to work entirely remote, you can. If you don't, then you don't.
See, I like the idea. Like the idea of flexible working is good too, but at the same time, it's like I prefer the idea of like your hours. It's like 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever, or 9 to 5, and then you're out. But like I can see obviously like people who kind of have like children at home and stuff like that there, like I can see flexible work working, but I think for me if it was like flexible, then you'd like find yourself on at like 10 p.m. and you'd probably end up doing a lot more hours.
Yeah, you could do. I don't know, like it's a thing I would find, well, in my placement job I found very easy to separate, because because the job was just so boring. 4 p.m. came, I was away. I'm done by.
I'm out, boys.
I could not hack it, like. So I guess you kind of.
But
there's a balance to be had some way. If you enjoy your job, if you enjoy what you do, or if you're good at it, if you can be productive with less people talking to you, you likely will overwork. But if you can draw the line. If you sort of get better with yourself, because your man CGP Gray as well, who I recommend. He does videos on everything. He had a video on like surviving lockdown, like you're on the lockdown ship, it's just you. If you don't separate your spaces, you have a hard time drawing lines.
It's working one place. It's all just the one thing. I think we kind of covered this. We covered this podcast.
We covered this first episode. But like separate your workspace from your eating living space, from where you relax. And only do things in their own space. Like you're doing something at work that you're really close to fixing or doing or getting done properly. Don't eat in your work area. Go downstairs. Just take a break. Stop. Force yourself to, which again I'll refer you back to episode 1. But yeah, no, I mean, I know the 4 day work week. You could get less done potentially.
Yeah.
You could. But a lot of places, especially software places, don't really deploy things on Friday and stuff.
But then again, kind of going back to what we were talking about, like Elon Musk and stuff, it could be kind of that thing, like that quote I was referring to earlier, like you give yourself like 30 days to do something that will take you 30 days, but you give yourself 30 minutes, and then, well, for like unexaggeratedly, it probably won't take you 30 minutes, but like it'll take you less time to do it, but like it could be that similar sort of effect if you're working 4 days.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I have read advantages of the 4 day work week. You know, it gives you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off.
Yeah.
Which obviously a lot of people do find good because.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to complain about that.
I don't think anybody will complain. Yeah. I can see some places maybe trying to compensate by making working days longer.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it's only like an hour or two, that'll add up. Like,
because like 4 days.
It'll nearly like it'll basically nearly just equate to another full working day.
Yeah, because you'll have your lunch break in the middle. And then, or a lunch break, and then if you have half an hour lunch, at least half an hour not accounted for, and then. So I don't know, really, like. I suppose it gives you more time off, but then the same again, it's kind of a catch. What's that? Catch 40. Catch 22.
Catch 22. Catch 40. Yeah.
Catch 40. Catch 50.
It's kind of a catch 22 because you're basically still working that extra day for the other hours. You're kind of quitting, but then at the same time, it is like giving you like more time off, I suppose. But then I don't know, less actual time during the days you are working to like do other stuff. But
yeah, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah. So it could probably be up to the individual person maybe, unless it's like a sort of thing where they're actually like in an like they're maybe not doing like a computer like IT jobs and they're doing something else. It's like, no sir, it's fucking closed, you can't come in. But
or I suppose with shops and stuff, you could have like some people working a 4 day week that ends on a Friday, and some people working
you could have people like doing different days.
You get people Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off, and have them in the rest of the week, which is how they kind of work now, I guess. They're in when they're in.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's true.
Some people have been working 4 day weeks for the past years because they do work in retail and they only have however many hours a week. Hello, part-time jobs. Have you heard of us?
Well, that's also true.
Yeah. But no, I think it's a good thing. That's really shaking things up. Like if you look at schools, like rows and rows and rows of Waynes, and then so I thought somebody came in.
Sorry, that might be my shoes squeaking.
And then a teacher standing at the front. Like that's been how school has been since there were only 3 numbers in the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the shake-up's welcome. Like I think universities as well. They've seen now that like with us obviously we've experienced it firsthand, but all these things they said, oh no, you need to come in. You clearly don't. Like exams are still going well, people are still passing. There's probably more courses.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anything's come out of this, is that the work's been given a good shake. And really sort of.
They're kind of 100%. They're kind of like saying, "Fuck, we don't just have to do it this way. We've always been doing it. We can think better ways of doing it."
How much does the average house cost? 125 grand, 203.
No idea.
Quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
Big mortgages, paying them off. Most people do for their whole lives. So you buy a house, and you spend most of every day in another building.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You come home and fall asleep.
Yeah.
You get up and go.
I know for a lot of my family who actually were working from home, I think for the most part they actually preferred working from home.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually kind of dreading going back to the office.
Actually, you know what? I think I need to be good at painting here. I never sat in here long enough to see.
100%.
Yeah, no, like it's definitely a good thing. It has been things change.
The only thing I would kind of notice, and I've heard like a lot of people talk about this too. I think there's a guy called Simon Sinek or something. I think he's like some sort of CEO. I don't know too much about him, but I've kind of like seen him talk like on YouTube and I think it was LinkedIn. But he brings up an interesting point. The thing with working from home is, I find it anyway for myself, is that you could be like sitting all day and like obsessed like with the code, like trying to see what's going on, and like maybe like go get your lunch or something like that there, but other than that you'll just like sit there. But if you think about it, and like going to work, you actually have like a commute, and then like maybe I'm not a big like coffee or tea drinker, but most normal people will, like what I've witnessed in the office anyways, they'll get up like maybe every like hour or something, and they'll go and get a cup of tea or something. But from home, I find, well, for myself and maybe a lot of other people are the same, is that they won't get up and like have those same breaks that they would have had in the office and stuff. But,
well, I noticed my mum's the same as well. Like she won't eat all day. She's like, I'm starving. I was like,
I do that too.
Breaks. But that's one thing that like I definitely did keep when I was working in on placement anyway.
Yeah.
Like lunchtimes and stuff, and it helped as well. That my manager was just like, you don't get paid enough to sit here.
Oh, he was kind of relaxed about it.
Yeah, like, you don't get paid enough to sit here during your lunch. Get up and go. Like, I would regularly go when we were in the office, and I would go to Victoria Square.
Yeah.
And it would take my whole lunch break to get there. And then I would eat and come back.
Yeah.
I'd been out for an hour, and he wouldn't even notice. He'd be like, okay.
Like nobody like adheres to this like sort of strict sort of. I think for the most part, like it's just sort of as long as people get the work done, they need to get done.
We don't really care,
you know.
Because like a lot of it happened then. So once COVID hit, a lot of people didn't have laptops.
Yeah.
So there weren't a lot of people putting in requests or anything. So they were kind of dripping in. So we just sort of like messed about for a bit, played games. Are you on the Minecraft server?
Sounds class.
Yeah. And you were actually working as well. Like, man, I have no work on. Oh, work's just got hectic. Like, has it? I have no work on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't ask.
It's because I'm like so fucking, you know who I am, I'm so antsy and like anxious. It was like, if I didn't have any work on, I'd be like, oh shit man, they're gonna think I'm fucking useless and I'm not doing anything. So it's like, I would do like anything I could to like try and be busy.
Like they came, what was it? It was just, it was kind of funny. Every day I was going in, I was chatting to you like, yep, just landed in here at work, like 10 minutes later or something. Like, oh, have you a lot of work on? I was like, nope.
That's because I was worried I didn't have enough work, so I was like, I wanted to.
You're like, I
was kind of seeking external validation, which is something I'm trying to get better at not doing.
Maybe the work will pick up for you soon. And I'm like, probably not. Hasn't done so for a bit.
You just came to terms with it.
I've got a man bringing me in a tray of like 40 phones later on that I've got to install an app on. Apart from that, no, nothing's happened.
Just killing some critters.
Install an app on an Android. Great. And I didn't even need them because what they installed the app for didn't happen. Nice.
But I'm getting paid.
But anyway, we're getting a bit off track. I think we kind of talked about it before, so hook back to episode 1, which is still our most popular episode. So I think that.
I think this episode should beat it. Make it happen. Yeah. Yeah,
I think a lot of people have started, watch the first episode or listen to the first episode because it has like we're getting into metrics, which is something we probably shouldn't do on the podcast, but I kind of want to because it interests me. We're at about 50 or so people listen to the first one. About 20 or so people listened to the second one. So I don't know, was that 30 people that, just because 30 people saw the YouTube video as well, so that's about 70. So I've noted people listen to it and like, oh my god, this is trash. Or have you not had time?
I think it could be a bit of both. Like I'm not going to say it's
we don't know one way or the other.
But my kind of thinking is that people are always so hyped to hear oh my god, what are they going to say, just out of their own nosiness, but then once they kind of get a taste for it, they're like, can't be bothered.
I know myself,
I know some of my friends do that, so fucking watch the podcast.
Watch the podcast, I'm telling you in the podcast.
You know who you are, fucking watch it.
I'm telling you in the podcast to watch the podcast.
You know who you are.
What if they don't watch the podcast? No, but I know myself. I subscribe to a few podcasts, and I really like the people that do them, because some of them are Twitch streamers and some of them are YouTubers like CGP Greg I'm harping on about, and you've probably seen number file videos that advertised or recommended to you.
It's maybe something I've seen, but I can't
the history of the number E or that sort of thing. I don't know, man. I just like videos with nerdy stuff. But he has a podcast and he does it with the number file guy, and he has another podcast, and I'm subscribed to them all. I think I've listened to about 4 episodes collectively from all of them, but I love them all individually. I watch them on Twitch and I watch their YouTube videos, but they're podcasts I don't really have a time in my schedule to listen to podcasts. Like people I've been talking to about our podcast, like have you listened to it yet? Oh, I don't listen to podcasts during the day. Like I'll probably hear it tomorrow night, or like they have a time they listen to their podcasts. So I don't know, people maybe just not hit that time yet.
See,
or
I kind of get that. Like I think for myself. Like during like a working day, I did like sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, but like other times I'll kind of feel guilty, like I'm kind of slacking if I'm listening to a podcast. So instead, like I go a lot of walking. I don't even really listen to podcasts on my walks. It's more music, but it's more so at like late at night whenever I'm kind of just lying in my bed chilling is when I would listen to podcasts. Or if I'm getting my dinner, I'll just stick on my headphones and like listen to a bit of a podcast at the table or something.
Yeah. But, because they're so long, but they're like a long form media, I guess. So if you don't have the time to listen to the whole thing, you kind of feel like you can't listen to it. So I don't know, maybe we'll start posting like broken up sections.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that actually. We could put like timestamps to like different sort of.
Yeah, we can do that. Because I know on Anchor you can upload like individual segments and then make a video of each segment if it's under a certain length.
Okay.
Which I think we might do. Like those videos of like the captions filling in as we speak.
Yes.
You can even make them automatically.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah, another thing actually I want to talk about. We'll skip right back to Donda. In the song "God Breathed," there's a line. It's like, "Don't worry about Dustin Hoffman." What's the relevance?
I don't know. Kanye is probably just the guy. He was probably rubbing up on some matter. Maybe he watched like some movie with Dustin Hoffman in it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be my bars."
And I actually did have a point here. You said about the sort of the gospel.
Yeah.
At the end of God Breathed, there is 2 minutes and 33 seconds of number one, the instrumental, which I kind of liked, layered with those sort of like hallelujah.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like I kind of vibe with it, but after a while I was like, right, Jesus, has to be over.
You kind of think it's almost like someone who just leaves their YouTube video blank to like get to the 10-minute mark or something. Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
But that's all I really. That's something I find of note. But apart from that,
that's something I noticed with music. Like sometimes, do you ever get like you'll be like listening to a song and there's like a really great riff in a song, and you're like really vibing to it, but then they don't have that riff in it for long, and then it really annoys you, and you're like, fuck, I wish they like had that riff in it and like extended it.
That riff is bigger, yeah.
But I guess like Kanye kind of fills a need with that then. Like if he's like there might be some people who's like, oh, I'm really vibing with this. He's like letting them sort of write it out. But
I think you find a lot of bands that do big riffs will, like whenever they're playing live, play it longer. Like
100%.
Like Zakk Wylde is prime example.
Oh Jesus! I like Zakk, but man, he just like after a while is shredding.
A 12-minute solo.
Yeah. And he's probably just hammering on the same notes like over and over again. Like, people who don't know anything about guitar playing are like, I play guitar. I wouldn't say I'm a good guitarist by any means, but like I sort of know when like someone's like fucking shredding the piss out of it, like taking the piss kind of. You're like,
but like so that's the most.
Zakk Wylde is a great player.
The 12-minute Zakk Wylde solo, or the Alter Bridge song Rise Against. That's
Rise Today.
The Alter Bridge song Rise Against. Rise Today.
Yeah.
It's like 5 or so minutes long on the record, but when they play it live, it's like 7 or 8. So they have like a guitar battle in the middle.
I suppose they're just like sort of vibing with the energy and like what the crowd are like. What the crowd.
So like I guess it really depends on what sort of setting they get, and just sort of put on a record that they had the idea at one point, and then maybe they'll like hear it and be like, oh yeah, I remember that riff. Let's make it bigger, and then they will. But yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah. We're pretty much through our list.
Are we? I feel like we've been talking for quite a while.
We have. I'll stick my little uplifting thing in here. So there's this girl. She that page of the Dodo on Facebook. It's all the animal stuff.
No.
Well, there's a page called the Dodo on Facebook.
Okay.
And they post like these animal related videos. So this doll found a bee. The bee was just vibing on the ground, but
is this? I think I saw something. Is this the girl who befriended a bee?
Yeah, she befriended a bee. She started looking after this bee.
And the bee's just vibing with it.
The bee was just vibing with it. Like, it got to the point where it's like it was a pet. So she would like take it out to flowers and stuff to hang around with other bees, so it can still do its little butt wiggles and stuff where all the honey is. Yeah, so we do its little butt wiggles and tell all the other bees where all the pollen was and stuff. But like, obviously the bee couldn't fly because its wings were snafu'd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so this doll was just like looking after this bee. She put it on flowers with all the other bees, and then all the other bees took off to go and get all the nectar and stuff and all the pollen. And the wee bee was like, "Well, I can't fly, so bye."
Yeah. See, I'm kind of wondering, like, if the bee had wings, would it have just like fucked off weeks
Well,
ago?
that's the thing, yeah.
But then again, like, if a bee doesn't fucking like you, it's just gonna sting the fuck out of you.
That's it.
But then again, like, could be stinging her, and she's just not letting on. She's like, best friend.
Bees can only sting you once and then they die.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Actually, forgot about
You're thinking all them wasps it's
all
about
those wee
that
wasps.
dirty hers.
Hers.
But no, so this
No,
doll, she was.
that, yeah.
Yeah, no, she befriended this bee. And she was taking her to the flowers and stuff. But it got to the point then that the bee wouldn't like go with anybody else. Like it wouldn't get on anybody else's hand. Like it would only go to her and stuff.
Oh really?
But then like it was chasing her cat around the room, and her cat was just like not eating it because her cat knew that it was a friendly bee, and it was all just so wholesome. And I was like, you know what, the world might be falling apart, but
Well, I figured you were gonna say the cat was like, nah, fuck this. And she got it or something.
No, the bee is now dead. Because bees only live for like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, but this one managed to live for 24.
There you are.
But so
the part of love.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously not having the risk of being flying around and getting swatted because
that's also
just
true.
living in somebody's house as a domesticated bee. But yeah, so that's my little uplifting story. You know, there are some people in this cold, cruel world that still care.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That it. Number one, I didn't know bees. Only usually live like 3 days, but
yeah, I think it's like that. I will double check. I'll fact check myself because I don't want to do another correction. Oh no, there you go. The western honeybee lives 30 to 60 days, and the early bumblebee lives 28.
Oh, okay. So his life was actually quite short.
So his life, well, I'm not entirely sure how long it did live for. Then maybe I just
Anyway, the moral of the story is this girl had a friend bee, and
this girl had a pet bee, and it was really damn cool. And I want a pet bee.
Yeah.
Apparently, also wasps only get really angry at this time of year because they there's no food left in the hive, so they're all starving. They're trying to eat you.
That'd be a reason to get angry, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so
good vibes.
Are you in the crypto market?
I am in the crypto market. Are you in the crypto market?
I had some rough times recently, so I got out of the crypto market. But I was in the crypto market. I was in Bitcoin, Bitcash, Ethereum, XRT. I can't remember what XRT is.
I never invested in XRT. I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano at the minute. I also bought Doge with like another like sort of platform, but it just like fucking.
It took a
I haven't looked at it since. I'm not even sure, but only I didn't put that much into it.
Got it after it memed.
Yeah.
Gotta get it before the memes.
But no, crypto, Ethereum, and Cardano are my sort of main ones at the minute. I just kind of whenever I get some money, I'll just like sort of. What one do I want to put this into today? It's like, fucking just choose one. Or just divide it like
recurring buy, just get them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of cryptos because they're kind of like stocks.
Yeah. It's just, for me, I kind of view it as like a more productive way to like sort of, well, this could be debatable because if it just like goes down, then it's not really a more productive way, but it's kind of a more productive way of like managing like spare cash that I'll throw out there that you're like willing to kind of lose.
Yeah.
It's like a more productive way to like sort of manage it and let it make more money rather than like letting it rot in your bank and like sort of lose value to inflation.
It's kind of like it's kind of like investing with the stock market, but it's not because, well, I don't know
what
about other
crypto
cryptos.
Shit at the minute.
Isn't it always?
It's in such a drought. Yeah.
We'll talk about stocks later on. But crypto, so you have like all the Bitcoin that's going to exist is already out there.
Yeah.
Whereas with shares and stocks, a company can issue like 1 million more stocks and diminish the value of yours exponentially.
Yeah.
I don't know, so it's good that way in that really it's only ever guaranteed over time to average more value per coin.
Yeah.
Ish. Unless it doesn't, I guess. somebody can correct us if we're terribly wrong. I know for a fact we have listeners that are very into crypto.
Yeah.
Because they donated to my Twitch channel.
I'm by no means an expert in crypto. I have a very basic understanding of it. All I know is that
all I know is money
on good days it makes me a bit more money.
Yeah. But I think that's how Bitcoin works. At least all the Bitcoin that will ever exist is already out there. In the blockchain somewhere. We just gotta mine it. But please stop buying all the good graphics cards because I want to upgrade soon. Thanks. They're really desperate, man. They're annoying mining.
Is it even worth it to mine Bitcoin anymore? Like I
think it is.
Is it?
Well, it's worth it to mine Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
So Nvidia put on this hardware protection.
Yeah.
Where you could not use their cards to mine Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they advertise it as, this will stop mining completely. No, it stopped mining Ethereum completely. So you know what people did?
What?
They just mined another currency.
Yes.
Because the way the tech worked was it just blocked the Ethereum decryptor.
Yeah, it said block all cryptos. Okay, next. It's like a conveyor belt with like cryptocurrencies waiting to be mined.
Let's do the next one. Here's the next one. I don't know when it worked. There's a coin called Clue Coin. It was on Reddit there. It's really, really, really cheap. It's a meme coin. Really is. Like people are buying 2 billion Clue coins with like $100. like.
I might invest like a small amount of money into it just for the sake.
Yeah, just see what you get.
Yeah, I mean, like that's also the thing. Even though they are meme coins, like if it kind of catches on that everybody's like buying it, you know, you can make like
buy low, sell high.
You can make quite a shit ton amount of money off of like those like coins that have like very little value. You know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's the same with like penny stocks in the stock market too.
Big penny stocks.
But then it can backfire on you too, depending on how much you put in. But yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird, like, but Bitcoin, the first Bitcoin transaction ever made was 26 Bitcoin for a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Like 26 Bitcoin now would be worth well over 100.
I know. I think in 2010 when you couldn't actually buy Bitcoin, but you could only mine it. I think one Bitcoin was like 0.7 cents or something like that. So imagine you bought like 1,000 back then. What the fuck would you be worth today? Like, you know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's mad. It's a mad market. And Bitcoin's the only one that's really seen that kind of success. Like Ethereum's the next.
Ethereum's getting there.
It's like what, 100 per coin.
No, I think per coin is like 4,000 or something like that. Let me double check.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Used to be smaller.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like a year ago, it was like much smaller. I wish I'd gotten into it a year ago, actually, but I'll check now.
Hindsight's always 20/20, eh?
Yeah.
No, sir, 2021.
So, Bitcoin is currently at 35,956.9954. Ethereum is at it's dropped. I think it was at 4,000 at one point, but it's now 2,795. 2,797.
Jeez, boys.
And then Cardano is like £2 at the minute.
What a coin!
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just shows you the insane jump Ethereum's had in like the space of a year as well.
So let's cut the tangents and talk about the sunk cost fallacy.
The sunk cost fallacy. Well, as I was kind of saying earlier, I've just finished James Smith's book, and I've kind of talked about. I think I've like gave him a shout out in the like last couple of podcasts. So go check him out if you're like sort of into like personal training and like a personal trainer who's going to give you no bullshit and like. Yeah, he's just interesting to watch really. He makes a lot of like Instagram videos and Facebook and stuff, but in his book, Not a Life Coach, he was kind of talking about the sunk cost fallacy, which is essentially where you've invested so much time or money into something that you think you have to follow it through, even if it's not giving you much joy or much benefit. So I was kind of thinking like, what's your kind of opinions on that? Like, say someone who's maybe doing a degree where they're maybe in like their second or third year out of like 4 years, but they absolutely like fucking hate it or something. Do you think they should like follow it through, or do you think if it's not giving them joy, they should just call it quits and like do something else that's going to give them joy, or even like other kind of examples. It doesn't have to be a degree. What's your kind of thought?
Well, I think there's you have to look at sort of the whole picture, right? So you were saying like, if it doesn't give you much joy or benefit.
Yeah.
So like weighing it against those two, is the joy low but the benefit's high if you
that's
finish?
true actually. Yeah.
So I mean, I think for a degree it would depend what you're doing, but if you know yourself, the absolute state of some characters in our year.
Oh god.
That manage to graduate with firsts.
Yeah.
So like it is possible to, if you're not enjoying it, still finish on a high and get the big benefit.
But I guess the thing is too, even with a degree, is like, say you're still like gonna get the degree, but then after it you have like no like kind of desire to like actually work in that field. Do you think it's like still like beneficial to carry on with the degree, or?
In general, the degree can like earn you more money just for having it.
Even if it's not the same.
Even if it's not, you have
fair enough.
So you're qualified to make more money. But if it's something that's giving you low joy and low benefit, and like even after you finish, like even if you did finish, it wouldn't give you benefit. Like your degree is in drama or something. Like just because you have a degree in drama doesn't mean you're going to be a best-selling actor, and like your return on investment might not be too good. But like you might still end up worse off or the same as if you hadn't bothered to start.
And that kind of leads me into another point as well, which is like related to it. It's also in his book. It's intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, which where basically extrinsic motivation is because you're going to do something because you're going to like make like a lot of money off of it or something like that there. Whereas intrinsic motivation would be you're doing it because it like gives you joy and happiness or something like that. So that kind of so I guess what's your kind of opinion on that, like extrinsic and intrinsic?
Physical interview.
I don't know. Like,
it's your podcast too.
No, I know that, but like I'll kind of like I want to hear what you say, and then I'll like kind of give.
You give your opinion, and then I'll give mine. So extrinsic and so. Because when you hear the word something extrinsic, you sort of think you're doing it for other people, or
it's like you're doing it for like external like sort of rewards,
outside reasons. Whereas in intrinsic, you're doing it for yourself basically.
Yeah.
I mean, there are areas obviously where they overlap, but you're doing it for money and you're doing it because you enjoy it. Like for example, if someone came along right now and said, "Oh, we love your podcast. Here, take $500,000 to advertise us in the next episode."
Do your podcast for a living? It's like
like we're making the podcast just out for the unlimited crack, but
we also enjoy doing it, and you're making a shit.
And you would want to make money if
you can make a living off of it. 100%.
Sorry, listeners, we don't see you as cash cows.
No, we don't.
But like it's an interesting thing, because like it's kind of the same thing with like gratification and stuff.
Yeah.
So like
instant gratification versus like long time. Like sort of rewards. It
came to me in terms of like playing an instrument stuff. So I was talking to a friend about Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero class. I love playing Guitar Hero. Because you feel pure class when you get the notes. But it's like but that's like instant gratification. Like if you learned how to actually play the guitar,
it's not going to be like
you'll suck for ages.
It's not going to just be like a very straightforward process.
But like you'll slowly start getting better at it, and the better you get at it, the better you sound.
The more effort you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it over time. But it's not going to be instant.
Whereas with Guitar Hero, you just hit the buttons in time. And it might be hard to play on expert for a while, but then once you get it down, you have it.
Yeah, you can always put it on the easy mode and feel like a god.
Put it on easy and get it. Whereas with the guitar, like you'll sound like trash until you don't deal with it.
100%.
So it's kind of the same thing. Like I think the reward in life, because obviously, like you can get really nihilistic. Like if we talk about life as an example, you can get really nihilistic, like, well, nothing matters because we all die in the end.
You have to make you have to make your own sort of like
it's like that sort of thing. So
reasons
like it's a big intrinsic thing that we just kind of want to do nothing because that's our natural state of entropy. We just kind of want to sit and lie down and
I feel like what the fucking lions and stuff do out in the wild when they're not eating.
Like entropy is a big thing in general, and I don't want to bore anybody with it because I don't understand it. But I suppose the word sounds smart.
Much about it as well.
But basically, like chaos is how things are. Like in nature and stuff, rivers go where they want. Well, they go where they end up because of how physics makes the water flow, but
Yeah.
they're not straight lines.
It's not some organized structure.
Yeah, like if there's something in the way, it goes around. Like the chaos is how everything is. Like it's and in chaos theory as well. Like if you swing a ball from here, it'll take a completely different path than if you swing it from like a millimeter down.
Yeah. It's all pretty random.
Yeah, chaos is everywhere. So like when you try and keep things, that's why your room takes such a short time to get messy and so long to get clean.
Yeah.
So like we just want to be as at rest as possible.
Lackadaisical as
at rest as possible, just because that's how things are. Things go places and stay there. We go through life and then in the ground.
Yeah.
Well, Sheriff, I just may as well stay here and do nothing.
Yeah.
So that's your intrinsic reward is just sort of chilling out and vibing. They're like, I'm doing this because I don't want to. But then the extrinsic stuff, like the stuff that, like we talked about it right at the start, like with stones, or people that die young but live big. Like you've lived like.
Yeah.
Well, like there's a quote about it, and it's kind of cringe, but I kind of vibe with it too.
It's kind of like people could die young and they could live like 1,000 lives, and like someone could live until they're like 80 and like not like barely live at all. Is it something like that, or?
It is, but
I don't know if the. But no, 100%. I get what you're saying about like they can like sort of the different motivations can like overlap, and the sunk cost fallacy, like having a degree like sort of in any field can put you at a benefit, but. My sort of view on it is like if someone like hates something enough and it's not bringing them joy, they shouldn't feel trapped. Like, I have to do this. This is just the way it is. Like, no, I think you can always like sort of start again for lack of better words, or like find something else that you're like going to kind of. But it's easier said than done. It's not just like quit your job. It's like. It's not just going to be easy fucking flying.
It's like it was like some people live more than 20 years and others do 80 or something like that. So like so that's sort of the extrinsic stuff where like really what you want to do is sit and do nothing because it's easy. You want to do passive exercises. You just want to chill out, play games, do whatever. That's all that instant gratification. That's the
because your brain wants to keep you in your comfort zone.
Yeah. So like the extrinsic stuff, like I don't know, does James
Smith,
James Smith. I don't know, does he only use money as an extra motivator? Like obviously.
He uses it like extrinsic and he uses money and then he like kind of like uses it as like what society like deems you should be doing as well.
Yeah.
Like another extrinsic.
So his is sort of through the lens of
like a kind of weirdo or something.
Yeah, so his is sort of through the lens of all the external factors are bad and you should only do it for you.
No, he's not 100% like that. He's kind of like you should find like a balance. The book is kind of like finding like a better like work-life balance in life and like sort of moving towards doing things you enjoy. Like it's not going to be like you should be in like a state of pleasure all the time.
Okay, well we're sort of like kind of at odds here, like using different things to mean the same. Like I'm thinking like extrinsic stuff, so stuff you don't. Like you wake up and you're like, I kind of just want to sit down and do nothing. Yeah. But you know that you should go out and like go for a walk. Like that's good for you. That will like get you in a better mental state. But at the same time, it's really attractive to just lie in bed and chill. Yeah. So like certain extrinsic things can like and it goes back to the gratification thing as well. I maybe change the topic and we're talking about something completely different. I'm not actually answering the question.
No, I think for the most part you pretty much are.
Yeah, but so like your intrinsic things are linked to your like instant gratification. So instantly, if I want to sit down and lie in my bed, I can be satisfied just scrolling through memes or something. But like I would also be satisfied. Like we have a friend that loves climbing mountains and going out and doing stuff. Like yes, I would probably hate every second of climbing a mountain, but like at the top I
benefit. You would like look down. But
not saying I want to climb mountains every day all day, but like like that sort of like balance of doing things you want to do just because like playing games, that's instant gratification and it does bring me enjoyment. Like it lets you relax and stuff. So it's kind of good to have a balance of things you have to work towards and things you have to like sort of do to get on. Like I said there, I got very dark. I was like, we can go the nihilistic way, and I didn't really finish the point. You can go the nihilistic way and think nothing matters, or just lie in my hole and just wait for the end. Or you can just sort of like do what everybody does. Have your days where you're like a bit too tired to get up and do anything, but then also have days where like you go out and grab life by the balls.
Yeah. No, you definitely bring up good points, but I think it was kind of more like if you're doing a job solely for the money, but it like fucking drains you and you hate it, that would be like extrinsic because of the money. So I thought. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of his point. His point is kind of like you don't have to like be in that state of existence where you absolutely hate your job, but you're like chasing like the next pay rise, which is going to give you more stress in a job that you already don't like. His point is kind of like there are alternatives where you can make like life changes to like sort of move towards a better job that maybe isn't the same amount of pay, but it'll like make you happier and stuff. Which could be a benefit that outweighs the money and stuff. Yeah.
Like I think I've said this to you before, and I've said it to other people as well. Like there is a certain amount of money you will have coming in where you will no longer care if you have more.
That's he talks about that in the book too, which is an interesting point I want to touch on.
Like it might not seem like it when you don't have it, but eventually you will not care how much money you have coming in, as long as you have enough to live comfortably, and if anything unexpected happens, you can sort it out. Like hoarding money, there's no point.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the exact details, but he was talking about a point where, as you say, like there's like a certain threshold of money where you'll like sort of reach that limit of like income, and it will no longer increase your amount of happiness. It'll just like stay the same.
Money can't buy happiness.
And then you have it as well where. I think Dan Bilzerian, do you know who Dan Bilzerian is? He's kind of like this like
the Instagram guy.
Yeah, he's like an influencer sort, but he I don't agree with everything he does, like, but he brought up this interesting point, like this is kind of off track though, it's not really related as such, but it's sort of like if you're like kind of like poor and you're like staying in like I don't know, like what would you call it, like maybe like 1-star hotels or something like that there, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with, but that's gonna be like the level you're kind of like used to, and you're gonna be like maybe happy at that level.
Yeah.
And then say like you got rich or something, and then you stayed at like a 5-star hotel. That's gonna be the atmosphere you're like accustomed to then, and anything less than that just isn't gonna like be enough for you. And if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're like used to like something not as extravagant, then the level you're at, which for someone who's really rich wouldn't they would like hate that, is like fine for you. Whereas if you were to go up to their level for a while, you'd be like, holy fuck, this is great. But then like after a couple of months, you'd be like, you get used to it.
Yeah, well, like you see it a lot around here, well, around in this country especially.
Yeah.
There is a lot of money in farming, but sort of people start pushing, I don't want to do farming, that's for folk that, dirty folk that can't do it, or aren't smart enough to go wherever. But I know people doing PhDs that help run farms, like, it's...
Yeah. But to further your point too, it's like people who like sort of have that like stigma,
sort of looks out the nose and stuff.
Yeah, are people who are so fucking handless. Like they might be like good like academically, but if you ask them to like do something, they'd be like so fucking handless. Like
As we have a friend that calls them their suit and tie fuckers.
Aye, suit and tie guys.
And I am censoring myself a smidge there.
Yeah.
But no, so like. Farmers and stuff, like in this country anyway, like my mum was in the agriculture department, and like she would help some farmers do the books, because they can farm well but they can't do the records, which is kind of like software developers graduate from a course and then can't do docs. But so basically, like, these boys are running around, like you wouldn't think to look at them, like they'd be dressed in like a really tatty t-shirt and like jeans with sort of holes in them and boots that are falling apart, and they step out of like a brand new Range Rover or something.
It's like, look at Mark Zuckerberg, like the guy wears the same t-shirt every day for like save
he tries to remove choice. He's like, well, I don't really want to think about things that don't matter, like I can't change somebody's life based on what t-shirt I wear, so I'm just going to put on the same two things. Which, I mean, of all the things he's done, I can kind of get behind him on that one.
I think the kind of takeaway is don't judge a book by its cover.
And don't sell people's data. But yeah, no, so I was going to make another point there, but I kind of half forgotten it. Like, we have covered pretty much everything.
Like great detail, it seems,
I probably have left a lot of points hanging in the air, but I'm sure
stuff we can bring up.
I can tighten them up at the start of the next episode.
Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. In my opinion, this is probably our best episode yet. I've enjoyed talking about the stuff we were talking about. I love that we're able to actually sit in front of each other and like sort of. It's not like we're having a debate as sorts, but actually like just have like a face-to-face conversation rather than like being on like fucking over Discord or something. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any feedback, as always, you can leave like kind of that feedback in Anchor or ask questions or whatever. And thank you very much. See you next time.
Also follow us on Instagram.
Do that too. Cheers.